and welcome to Little Learners. In today's video I'm going to be talking about how you can help your child use phonics when they're reading. So I kind of touched on this in one of my previous videos all about phonics. If you haven't looked at that, make sure to check it out. I will link it in the description box below. Phonics is when we study the sounds of the English language so that we can piece them all together to read words. Children start learning phonics when they're in nursery or reception, and there are a lot of different schemes out there for phonics. However, one of the most popular ones is Jolly Phonics, which is what I have touched on in previous videos. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on when children know a bit about phonics, they're starting to understand which letters make which sounds, and we're going to focus on putting all of those sounds together in order to make words. We're going to be using a technique called robot arms. Yes, it is as fun as it sounds. So robot arms is a really good way for children to use movement to help them when they're trying to sound out words. If you're not already aware, there are lots of different ways to learn something. Children can be visual learners, they can learn by hearing things, they can learn best by movement, lots of different ways. So it's good to try and incorporate as many as possible into different kind of learning experiences. So without further ado, let's work out how to use robot arms to make words. So here we have the word cat, but a child doesn't necessarily already know that this word says cat, so we are going to use our arms to help us sound out the word. Every time we make a sound for a letter, we're going to move one arm. So k, a, t, cat. At the end, when we've said all of the letters, we bring our hands together to put all of them together, like you're squashing all of those sounds together. So, k, a, t, cat. First of all, when children start learning phonics, you want to just concentrate on using the robot arms to sound out the letters. This is what we call segmenting, so it means that you're breaking apart a word by each sound, or each letter. So, k, a, would be segmenting. Then once children can do this, we move on to blending, which is when we put all of the letters together, all of the sounds together to read the whole word when we're putting our hands together at the end. So we have segmenting, k, a, t, and blending, cat. Of course, blending is a little bit trickier than segmenting because you have to then incorporate everything you've just said for k, and try and stick it all together. We obviously start off with more simple words. We call these CVC words. This means that there is a consonant, a vowel, and then a consonant. So k, a, t, consonant, vowel, consonant. So CVC words are a great way for children to start reading using phonics. Eventually they can move on to words with more than one syllable, with lots of letters, and then they can start to read whole sentences. So let's have a look at a sentence and see how we would read it using our phonics and robot arms. Here we have a cat on a mat. Some children may say this as a cat on a mat because they haven't quite worked out that A on its own makes the A sound, but this is something that they'll get used to. Using our robot arms, we are going to read this sentence. A, k, a, t, cat. O, on. A, a, t, mat. A cat on a mat. Once children start to get a bit more confident using phonics to read, they will also be introduced to words that can't be sounded out. These words are often known as sight words or tricky words, irregular common words. There are lots of different names for them, and different schools sometimes put their own name to them. These are words like the. These words can't actually be sounded out using phonics, so children just need to learn them by sight. And I will make a whole other video about how you can support your child learning their sight words. So just be aware that there are both words that can be sounded out using phonics and words that can't. And of course, as is usual in the English language, there are some words that look like they can be sounded out with phonics, but they actually can't. Take knock, for example. There's a silent K, so there's just things that children kind of just need to work out as they go along, and We are there to help them and to teach them. When you're looking at books with your child, it's really important to encourage them to use their phonics, and if they're a bit stuck, to continue encouraging them. Don't say things like, oh come on, you know this one, because that will just make them even more anxious and make them more upset and more apprehensive to carry on reading. When your child starts to read, it's great if you can be doing robot arms with them. And when you're reading them bedtime stories or any kind of story, if you're doing the robot arms when you're reading it to them, that's also great, because don't forget, you are their #1 role model. So that was just a quick introduction into how to help your child use phonics when they're reading. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, you can click on the bell icon to make sure you get a notification every time I post a new video. Let me know in the comments below if there are any videos that you would like to see, that you would find really helpful, and also let me know how your child's reading journey is going. I'd love to know. My social media handles will be at the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.